Hello and welcome to Talk Soup, a weekly podcast from Selma City Schools where you will hear information regarding our schools, the district, and the community at large. And now, our host, Dr. Avis Williams.
Greetings, Selma community. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Soup. I'm Dr. Avis Williams, Superintendent for Selma City Schools.
And I'm Courtney Washington, Community Engagement Specialist for Selma City Schools.
And as always, we have a very special guest.
Yay!
We have our District 1 School Board Representative, Mrs. Danielle Wooten.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me today.
We appreciate you being our guest today, and we're excited to learn about your work as a school board and how much it's impacting our district.
Yes.
But before we do that, we have a segment that we do every week on Talk Soup, and it's My Why. And this is just where our guest shares your why. Why do you do this? What motivates you as a board member and even as a parent? So what's your why?
My why. I think for me, the biggest thing is when we look at our community and the needs of the community and also the needs of our own children.
Right.
You know, my biggest thing is to make sure that they're loved, cared for, protected, and that we develop them.
Yes,
and so that's really my biggest why. And so as a parent,
Yeah.
you know, I'm always trying to look at how can I expose them to more? How can I create opportunities for them? And I think that, you know, as a school board member, those should be our same goals.
Yeah, I love that because as parents, we want the same thing for the children that we serve as we
Right.
have for our own personal children.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yay! So you're board member for District 1. Tell us where District 1 is.
District 1 is comprised of Wards 1 and Wards 2, which are West Selma. So basically Dallas Avenue, Old Orville Road.
Just that whole part of town.
Yeah.
It's on the west side.
Mhm.
The west side. Very good, very good. Now I know you've been a very active board member, and I love that about the work that you do
you.
because you know a lot of times when we serve on boards, sometimes you're just like a
Going to
figurehead and going to meetings. But you're so active as a working board member. So and I know particularly you're doing some work with our STEAM Academy.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing to help R.B. Hudson STEAM Academy?
Well, I had some conversations with Principal Curtis over the summer, and she was just telling me kind of her idea about how she wanted it set up.
Yeah.
And so I just started thinking, and we were like, you know, just going back and forth with ideas about how, like, different areas, particularly in the arts. Because,
Okay.
you know, like you said, most times people focus on STEM, they think about
Yeah, the technology
the
pieces.
science,
Yeah,
the
and sometimes we
technology.
leave out that A in STEAM.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And so, also as a member of the Links Incorporated Selma chapter, I chair the Arts Facet Committee.
Yes.
And so I said, well, this is an opportunity where we can bring in a lot of community partners. And Alicia Chestnut, she's also a member of the Links.
Yeah, so
And
talented.
Yes, she is, and she has a real passion for the arts. And so I kind of called Alicia because I knew she wanted to do something in the schools anyway. And so we kind of have really, you know, jumped in.
Yeah.
And our 7 areas are dance, choir, band, visual arts, digital arts, graphic arts, theater.
It's like everything
No.
arts. Wow.
Theater, and it's one more area. I'm sorry, guys, I'm forgetting.
That's,
I'm
okay.
drawing a blank.
That's amazing, though. And so all of that will be kind of packaged in terms of some opportunities for the scholars at
Yes,
RB
so what
Hudson?
it is, instead of each of those classes or areas standing alone, what we did was made it an integrated program.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, there's going to be a culminating showcase.
Okay.
And this year it's going to be the Lion King,
Yeah.
which I thought was so cool.
Yes.
You know, because of the new
Yes.
Lion King and the old Lion King.
Yes.
And everybody has like a emotional connection to the Lion King.
Yes.
So I was like, well, maybe if we did the Lion King, that would really get the students engaged.
Motivated to.
You know, we have
yes.
Beyonce with the Lion King. You know?
Yeah.
Right. So it's just the integration of the programs with the culminating activity. But what we did is we are partnering the school with a lot of community partners.
Gotcha.
So like this Friday, the Alabama Shakespeare Festival will be at RB Hudson, and they're going to be doing a workshop
Yes.
all day. They came and they committed to do all day, thanks to Alicia Chestnut.
Yes.
The Maxwell Air Force Base Toastmasters, they're going to come later on, I think maybe in October, and do a
Okay.
workshop. We're working on the partnership with Alabama State University and their drama department.
Ooh,
So it's a whole list. I mean, really,
that is
the list
fantastic.
goes on.
Because one thing that we know is that our scholars need exposure.
Right.
Exactly.
And sometimes we can go to different
Exactly.
opportunities, but it's awesome to bring those
Right.
opportunities right to the school. That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So the Lion King will be the production,
Uh-huh.
and that's going to be sometime this spring.
It's going to be in the spring, in May, and right before the actual showcase. It was crazy because I had talked to Miss Curtis and Alicia about we should try to get them to New York to go to Broadway to see the Lion King.
Ooh.
And like the next week, Principal Lett
Yeah.
put out her
Yes,
information about
yes.
the trip to New York, and so they're going to partner,
Oh,
and they're going to try to
wow.
make it to where the kids can go to Broadway and see the Lion King in New York City.
Wow, what an amazing
So we're going to need
opportunity.
community partners.
Yes.
Yeah,
to
and probably
help.
chaperones.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Let me check my calendar. Yes,
wanna be a
Definitely available for that.
But that will be an amazing opportunity for our scholars,
It will.
because seeing is believing, and sometimes for them to understand how big the world
Yes.
is and the
Right.
opportunities that
Yes.
are beyond just what they see every day. They have to see it and be able to get that first-hand experience.
Right.
So thank you for that work. That is amazing.
Yeah, I was super excited about it.
It is so exciting. So you mentioned community partners, and of course, our theme. You gonna say it with me?
Yes.
One team, one voice, committed to excellence. And so when we think about that team, it is, of course, the entire
Right.
community and also our parents. So from your perspective with the work that you're doing that's already involving some partnerships, how important is it for us to partner with our parents and the community?
I think it's super important for us to partner with parents, but also for parents and teachers to have real working relationships. So yes, that's very important, because like I said, it's all of our jobs to love them, to protect them,
Yep.
to care for them, and most of all, develop them. And so I think that, and my children's teacher, if you ask them, they'll let you know. I have their cell phone numbers. I will
Right.
text them.
A real relationship, right?
Exactly. And as parents, don't hesitate to ask questions.
Yes.
And even if nobody listens, still ask, because that's our right as parents and taxpayers. But
Absolutely.
the more questions you ask, the more you will be knowledgeable about what's going on with your children. Because there's so much in education, and really, I didn't fully understand it until I knew what I expected and I knew what I wanted for my children, but I didn't know the ins and outs of education, and really until I got on the board. As far as the standards
It's a
and
learning
It
experience.
was, and I mean, it's been very helpful, and I just
Yeah.
think that information should be shared,
Right.
to parents,
Yeah.
so that they fully understand and they can know their part and how can I assist my child in their educational journey.
But that relationship with the teachers
Yes,
is really a
it's
key
key.
part of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they're the experts.
Yeah,
So-
and we've got October is Parent Visitation Month for schools, and so I know there'll be a lot of different activities and opportunities for parents to come to the school, but they don't have to wait until then. As
Right.
parents, you don't have
Yeah.
to wait until then to schedule a conference with the teacher and to make sure, like you said, that you've got good contact information with the teacher and that you keep
And
those
that they have
lines of
good
communication.
contact information for you.
Right, and you make a good point, because as when I put my teacher hat back on, it is frustrating when we can't
Yeah,
reach parents.
exactly.
And we do need to be able to have that dialogue, because I think one of the worst things as a parent and as a teacher is when you've got what we call ongoing problems, but we've not been able to reach a parent, and sometimes it's on us that we maybe didn't try to reach the parent. But either way, it's the scholar, the child, who is suffering
Right.
as a result of that. So yeah,
Exactly.
I definitely agree that relationship piece is paramount.
Exactly. And the last thing I want to add for parents out there, sometimes we get so caught up in the grade, but we need to dive deeper in to really see if our students are really learning and comprehending the standards that they're supposed to be getting. And some of that is, they take achievement and they take performance. And you can request a copy of your child's assessment data. And that way that'll really give you a good idea of where they are and where they stand, because it kind of shows the line of where they are ranking
Beyond just the grade.
beyond the grade, beyond the school, and beyond the district.
Gotcha.
So it's
Right.
a good tool now everybody's not good test takers,
Right.
so you can't rely on it,
Right.
but it kind of can help you kind of gauge where your child is, so you're not shocked.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think you make a really good point on something that we try to do is use multiple data points.
Right.
You know, so we're not making decisions, and as a parent, we shouldn't make decisions about
Exactly.
punishing our child or whatever else just on that one data point as a
Exactly.
grade. It can be a
Exactly.
part of it, but maybe
Yeah.
look beyond just
Right.
that and research some other
Exactly.
assessment data. I like that. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Well, we appreciate that. Yeah, that's a great tip for parents. Yay. So, shifting gears just a bit, another part of our show, a segment that we do each week, is called The Street Committee Said What? Now, do you know about the Street Committee?
I do know about the street committee.
We meet every week.
Yeah, you know, and you know, they keep us on our toes,
They
and I
do.
appreciate that because we have to be held accountable too.
Exactly.
We don't shy away from accountability, and we don't shy away from the fact that we are human and we don't always get it right. So, street committee is really a buzz right now. And some of this has been over the past few weeks. I think it's actually settled a bit now. But street committee says they got us teachers or these teachers doing agenda boards, lesson plans, learning plans, focus boards, and all of this stuff is just a repeat. And there's no research that shows that by putting a board up that my scholars are going to learn more. That's what the street committee says. So to that point, first of all, you have a good point in terms of having us look at the redundancy of it, because that's important. We don't want to create more work for our teachers, and I know even as a parent, you see our teachers work hard.
Yes,
and
they
teaching is hard, and it's a
Yes.
lot of work. So in response to the concerns, we sent a survey out a little over a week ago, and I've gotten the results back, and it was very telling in terms of some of the challenges and the frustration that our teachers are feeling. And we're going to address it. So starting this week, in fact, as you're viewing this, I will have already met with faculties of about half of our schools, and we'll get the other half next week. And not only talk about this, but talk about some other district news and some things that our teachers need to know. And part of that is going to be sharing data and sharing some information on the research behind agenda boards. We compiled a frequently asked questions document based on the survey, and so I'll be sharing that with our teachers and staff too. The main thing I want our community to know is that your voices are heard. You know, teachers, your voices are heard. And we're going to make sure that we're responsive to that and moving forward, making sure that we do a better job of being more inclusive
Exactly.
before decisions like that are pushed out. So for the street committee, we hear you, we hear you, and we're going to make sure that we're responsive and that we address those concerns. So you know, in the coming weeks, of course, you know, we may make some shifts in how those agenda boards are being done and what the requirements are.
Implementation.
Yeah, and so we'll share more with that with the teachers, and a lot of that will be done face to face, because I do think that's a much better way to communicate than via email.
Right.
But face to face at faculty meetings, so that that we can make sure we've got a clear understanding as we move forward. So there you go, street
And I
committee.
think the biggest thing, and you touched on it, is the collaboration.
Yes.
From the entire process.
Yeah,
From
because
the beginning of the
teamwork is
process
one
to
of
the
our
implementation.
teamwork is one of our core values, and we
Yeah.
have to practice that.
Right, exactly.
And owning it, we didn't do as good a job as we should have this time. And we're going to do a better job moving forward, but we're also going to go back and look at how we can make this process better. Because the research does show that our scholars need structure and they need explicit instruction. There's more than one way to skin a cat, though, so there are different ways that we can get there, and we want to get there together.
Yes.
And we want teachers feeling supported as they get there. Exactly. So that's it for our street committee report. So let's talk a little bit about our partners and social media and all of that
Yes.
great stuff.
So again, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as on YouTube. Again, you can watch our Talk Soup weekly, Fridays at 10 o'clock. Our partnerships, we are still accepting and reaching out to partners. We have several ways. The party you just heard from Ms. Wooten with the needs for RB Hudson State Academy. I'm sorry, I'm throwback right now. But the needs there, just with this one project that they have going on, that does not necessarily mean that that's it. But we do need specific partners for each of our schools. Again,
and experts.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's not just about you giving something physically, your money, your time, and your knowledge is just as valuable, especially with working with the Lion Kings. For example. Again, we do still have our home games happening for volleyball as well as for football. We do need your support with those games as well. The tickets were on sale, but they also serve as fundraisers for the athletic department as well as for those specific teams. So come out and support our Saints volleyball as well as football.
Can they still get season passes, or can we still purchase season passes?
I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah.
We did have it until August the 31st, but I think that
we won't turn it down.
So if you're just now tuning in to Talk Soup today and you're wanting to purchase those tickets, season passes, please contact Coach Turner at Selma High School.
She'll hook you up.
She'll probably upsell too.
Right.
What else? So we are partners specifically celebrating celebrating Attendance Awareness Month. And even though we've been recognizing it since August, this month we are at Team Selma. We're really pushing that campaign, and you would have received some information with me if you're currently a partner. But if not, and you're wanting to partner with Selma City Schools, please contact me, Courtney.Washington@selmacityschools.org for information on attendance awareness, because we do have enough information to share with you, specific activities that we would like for you to help us with, even if it's just posting your flyer in your organization, making it visible and letting the community know, and letting our scholars know that you support them as well as their academic achievement. So we do need partners for that as well.
I listened to the PSAs of
Yay.
our scholars.
So if you heard them this week, that was our scholars.
Yes. Oh God. I mean, and so it's from the mouths of babes,
Right.
you know, and it's just our scholars expressing the importance of attending school.
Yes. And going around, we actually recorded them last week, today, and just listening to them and their enthusiasm, and we're like, oh wow, they just did so well. Just getting giddy. I didn't even need to hear the end, the final product. Just watching them and their enthusiasm to communicate and to speak well and to be ready.
Yes.
You know, was very inspiring. So we need your support with continuing with that momentum.
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on the community involvement. I know you mentioned RB Hudson and the arts program, but their curriculum runs the gamut. I mean, they have culinary arts, you know, they have math team, and we actually spoke about them trying to, have you guys heard of Math Fest?
I haven't. No, what's Math Fest?
It's like where, they're at different levels, so there's an elementary level, middle school level, and a high school level. But like all the schools from the state converge on one school, and it's like this big math competition. But we can actually host one.
We should host one.
Yeah, so you know that's there, but also with the academies of excellence at each school.
Right.
So you know it's not just RB Hudson.
Right.
You know, all of our schools are moving in the direction of academies of excellence, from STEM to
performing
arts, criminal, social
justice. Yeah.
And I've been excited
great.
talking to anytime I'm sitting down with partners and we're meeting, that's one of the first things that we talk about. Hey, here's something specific that you can do. And this is how your organization or what, just the expertise that you have that fits into what we're doing. And even if they're coming to my office talking about something not even pertaining to that, hey, you know, this might be good. Right.
Courtney.
We're upselling you right now. But, you know, we do have people that are interested, and we just need more, because you're right, the academies of academic excellence, they are excellent ways to partner. And again, I'm having people reach out to me personally on my personal Facebook. Hey, how can this individual do this here? Hey, I have something for you.
There you go.
There's
I love
need
it.
everywhere.
I love it.
And as parents, the booster clubs are good ways for parents to really, you know, get on the ground, get involved.
I think other than one of the having our Team Selma, the employees to support our scholars, I think having the parents there are just as equally, if not more important. And when they see you at those games, you know, you're buying nachos and it's such and such as mama. Oh, well, mama, why aren't you helping? You know, it kind of spreads and it permeates.
Coach Gandy said that last week too.
Oh, really?
And he said that during the game he has to keep the athletes from looking back to see who's watching. because they want to make sure that people are
Right.
there to see them. So yeah, that's booster clubs are definitely a great way.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation last week with someone, and this popped in my head, and I don't know how we can implement it. But I was like, we need sideline dads. Like that would be a good way to, really kind of get dads
I
involved.
like that idea. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to take that. And
Yeah.
run with it. That's a great
Write that
idea.
down, yeah.
Yeah, that is a great idea because some of our families need some additional support,
Right.
and we need to be able to provide that because again, that's one team. It's all of us.
Yes.
And for some of our babies who maybe are lacking in terms of support,
Right.
we can provide it because there's enough to go
Yes.
around. We just have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, as we wrap up today, I do want to let you know that you mentioned Principal Curtis. She will be our guest next week for Talk Soup, and really excited to learn more about the great things happening at R.B. Hudson STEAM Academy. And another thing that we're adding next week also is highlighting one of our phenomenal teachers. So each week on Talk Soup, we'll do Teacher of the Week.
Right.
And a lot of it will be based on getting into schools and observing and just seeing the phenomenal practices that are happening.
Yes.
But if you've got a teacher that you want to nominate, we'll put out information about a process for you to do that as well. But definitely want to let our teachers know that we value them, we appreciate them, and definitely want to highlight the great work that they're doing.
Yes, yes. And then one last announcement, we do have one other budget hearing taking place September 10th. The first was September 5th, but September 10th at 4 o'clock at Selma High School Media Center. Please join us and be involved and be informed.
Absolutely, and attend those board meetings.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being our guest
welcome.
today. It's
Thank
been
you,
so
guys.
enlightening, and really big thanks for the work that you do.
Yes.
Because we could not get any of the stuff done
Not
that
at
we're
all.
getting done. The Academy is Academic Excellence, STEAM Academy, Aim for Excellence
Right.
Awards. None of it would happen if we didn't have a committed board. So thank you for that.
Thank you, and we appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing.
Well, thank you so much. All right, that wraps it up for Talk Soup for this week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.